All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. This is Spoon TV. We are coming to you live from the grounds of the Temple of Justice here outside up Capitol Hill. We'd like to welcome all of you to this very important broadcast. Today, we have been bringing you coverage of a major decision that the Supreme Court of Liberia was expected to bring down. The decision today stems from the ongoing saga or the impasse at the House of Representatives, where some members of the House of Representatives, of course, decided to have a separate quorum and vote of no confidence in the leadership of Honorable Funati Kofa. And it's been a long haul from the 17th of October in 2024 leading to where we are. There have been different stages of this fight, and of course, as most of you are aware, the the House of Representatives has been divided, and there's been a major battle there. We're going to bring you more update on this, but let's speak to the CDC chairman, Jangako. Welcome to Spoon TV, sir.
Thank you very much.
You are here today at the Temple of Justice. What brought you here?
Well, we're here to hear the ruling of the Honorable Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia.
Now, given everything that went on in there today, what's your take? What's your takeaway?
Well, we think it's a victory for the rule of law. We hope the government will abide by the ruling because they are responsible to ensure the executive should make sure the Supreme Court mandate is implemented. It should stop the disruptive interference in the activities of the House of Representatives. So the Supreme Court has ruled that any sitting of the majority bloc without the speaker is unconstitutional. So it's as plain as that.
Now, at some point during this whole saga, you took a position. You had a press conference where you said, in fact, you will resist any arrest of Speaker Kofa or some members of the majority bloc. Given where we are now, what is going to be the CDC's next course of action?
So we call on the government to do the right thing, adhere to the ruling of the court. Do not interfere. For instance, you saw the government deploying the police, and the police were assaulting certain lawmakers of the House of Representatives, which was very, very unprecedented and very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. So we call on the government to encourage their lawmakers. The United Party should encourage these lawmakers to adhere to the
rule of law. What do you mean?
That is really clear. They should go and sit under the gavel of the speaker in jail for Funati Kofa. The ruling is very, very clear.
Do you think it's possible, given how far we've come?
It's possible because that's the ruling.
What if the majority black fails or refuses to do so?
Well, again, it means the government is not interested in the rule of law. It's not interested in peace. It's not interested in the democracy of the country.
Okay, so then what will be your own next action as CDC?
We think the government will be trying to derail its own governance. And so it is incumbent upon the government to adhere to the ruling of the court. They should encourage the UP lawmakers to go and sit on the gavel of the elected speaker of the national legislature.
What about CDC lawmakers who you suspended? What can we say to them?
So we encourage them. I mean, these people were co-opted.
We opted that suspension.
No, they were co-opted. We encourage them to go sit under the legitimate speaker.
Honorable Thomas Fala is part of those people who left, that whole call from the CDC to go under the gavel of Honorable Kofa. Now, will you be lifting the suspension of Thomas Fala?
So we encourage all CDC lawmakers to go and sit under the gavel of the elected speaker of the 55th National Legislature. That would be the beginning point of trying to have some reconsideration. So we encourage them to go back to the chamber, sit under, because Liberia is a country of laws. Whenever somebody is elected as a speaker, do not look at him as J. Funati Kofa. No, he is the speaker of the 55th National Legislature, and as such, he's the third man in command in the country.
A lot of people thought that you had a hand in what happened to Honorable Kofa, that the CDC was throwing the rock and hiding your hands.
So clearly we have remained consistent. We have indicated to the Liberian people that there was a unity party government plot to remove a speaker who is a member of the CDC. and they have failed. The rule of law has prevailed.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. All right, folks, we stay here at Spoon TV. We're live on the grounds of the Temple of Justice here at the Supreme Court. The CBC chairman, you just listened to him, Janga Ko, as he's now exiting the grounds of the Temple of Justice here up Capitol Hill. Well, the courtyard is tense at the moment. We didn't get to see any member of the majority bloc here today. But what I can tell you is that there's a huge presence of state security here as we speak on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. I did see a few members of the minority bloc who trooped in here today trying to listen to what the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia will say in this particular case. Now, Liberians also trooped in here from every corner. Some of them supporters and sympathizers of Honorable Kofa, some of them independent Liberians who just came to witness what would have happened here today. This case is a landmark case, a major case that have drawn the attention of not just Liberians, but even folks from across the world eager to know exactly what the outcome of the case will be. We'll speak to some Liberians here. I'm here to see some of the members of the minority bloc come out. Once we get them, we will definitely get words from them as well. Let's see if we can speak to some Liberians here on their take on this particular issue. Hello, sir. You want to talk to us? Welcome to Spoon TV. Okay. All right. So some of them have declined to speak to us. Let's see if we can move on and talk to. You want to talk to us? Okay. So welcome to Spoon TV. You have been here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, giving everything that's happened here. What's your take?
What I'm looking at is I'm looking at the majority because looking at he doesn't have the number of doesn't have the quality of those sections. So looking at him, although the court has ruled in favor, but he doesn't have the number of he doesn't have the quality of those sections. So why would it be if the majority say we are not sitting only why would he doesn't have any option. But at the end, I'm looking at
So even with the ruling from the court, you think nothing is going to be reversed? You think we're not going to go back to where we were before the 17th of October when this whole thing started?
Even if they have to go down to start wherein every member will have to go back to the same account. But you don't see how the majority could say, yeah, we are not going back on you.
Okay.
That's the option.
Okay.
They could say, we are not going back to you. And you can force them. And the court has already ruled that there is no provisional law, constitutional law that mandates the Supreme Court to tell the majority to go on you. They cannot compare the majority to go on you.
Okay.
So that you can force them. They say we are not working with you. The majority that elected you as speaker. If they say we are not going on you, it's banning.
Okay. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Thanks a lot for talking to Spoon TV.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right. So, folks, we are staying here. We're live on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. Liberians are here in their numbers. Let's see if we can talk to a gentleman here. Hello, sir. Welcome to Spoon TV. Yes, sir. You have been here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, given the ruling from the Supreme Court today. What's your take? You think this ruling is going to make any significant difference? You think we're going to see Honorable Kofa going back to the speakership, like what we saw prior to the time this entire saga started? Okay. Okay. Thank you for talking to Spoon TV. Let's talk to this gentleman. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Spoon TV. Okay. So what's your take on the ruling here today from the Supreme Court?
Firstly, my name is People Biko,
must say the Supreme Court come up with the ruling. So the Pakistan and Liberians
Okay.
look at the issues and see how best they can go back on the drawing board and see how long they want to protest the terms. But the issue about the ruling today, the bigger aspect of this case has been done.
Okay.
Is help with the police from the House of Representatives in order to bring forth the arguments, because they will not come back to the court again for any bit of information
Okay.
or bit of data, because all the information that is needed was given today in the court and recognized so far as the previous speaker. But my take is, my own problem is as to whether the police, the majority black will go back on the gavel of the offer.
You think they're not going to go back?
In my mind, a Liberian man takes power, understand the issue of the power. I don't think they'll be ready to give back the power they have tasted to somebody who was an oppressor, because it is not possible for me to go back.
Okay, thank you very much for talking to Spoon TV.
Thank you so much.
All right, so folks, we are staying here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, the Supreme Court. There is still a huge security presence here, and we're going to remain posted to bring you updates every step of the way. That's the 102 of the Liberia National Police, the Deputy Inspector General for Operations, just arrived on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. His men are posted to ensure that the security. This has been a major case in the Republic of Liberia, a case that has sparked public attention, with a lot of people seeing this as one of those major cases that will be a precedent in time to come with respect to how speakers are removed. Though this is not the first time for a legitimate or an elected speaker of the House of Representatives to be removed by his colleagues, but just the aspect of the embattled speaker, Honorable Kofa, going to court, deciding not to resign, is something that brought a whole different flavor to this particular situation. And so we are going to remain posted here to bring you more updates on this particular situation. Let's get more views from Liberians here. Welcome to Spoon TV.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what's your name? Okay, Kane, what do you make of the ruling from the Supreme Court today, and what sort of impact do you think this is going to have on the impasse at the House of Representatives? Okay. You think it's going to make any difference? Is it going to have any impact on what has been transpiring at the House of Representatives?
It's another separate branch of government. We don't know what might happen from here, but I think the Green Party ran here, and then they came up with the final ruling, so we expect whatever happens. While all decisions are there with me at that level, the actual branches of government, the executive, the judiciary, and the national legislature. So they are saying the case is more political. So some people are coming up with a ruling, and that is their responsibility to come up with a ruling to tear it down with the government.
Now that the legal aspect has concluded, do you think the political aspect is just about to start taking off at this point?
That's what I'm hearing from them now. The case is more political than legal. But the Supreme Court told them that whatever decision is made, I will totally against the former speaker or the speaker of the Court. That is their decision. Without that, there's a separate branch of government. We expect them to listen to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking to Spoon TV. All right, so folks, we're staying here, Spoon TV. I'm Nelson Colette. Thanks for joining us. Let's see if we can talk to another gentleman here. Hello, sir. Welcome to Spoon TV. Okay, so what's your name, sir? Come again? Okay, Mr. Mohammed. You have been here since this morning, following the Supreme Court interpretation of her ruling today. What's your take? What can you say about the ruling today from the Supreme Court? You're waiting for the ruling. Okay. So, but with information that the ruling has, recognized Honorable Kofa as the speaker, do you think it's going to make any significant impact on what has been happening at the House of Representatives? Okay, thank you for talking to us. All right, so, well, folks, we are still here. We are going to remain posted, giving you updates here every step of the way. We're looking forward now to seeing the arrival of some of the lawmakers who are still in there. We get words from our colleagues in there as well with respect to some of the happenings in the court. Once we get to establish contact with our colleagues who were in the courtroom, we'll have more analysis coming up on this particular situation here. But we're still here, posted outside on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, the highest court of the land, and this is where decisions, legal decisions are made. This is the highest court in the Republic of Liberia. So thanks for joining us. I'm Nelson Colette, and we are still here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. Well, we're going to remain posted, but as we speak, there is still security presence here. You have a few lawmakers' vehicles still being parked here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, and we are looking forward to seeing now. We will get words from some of the lawmakers in there as we move on with this very important update here. But thanks for joining us. This entire saga started on the 17th of October in 2024 when the speaker then, Honorable Kofa, was in room with the president of the Republic of Liberia, and some of his colleagues decided to start this entire fight. His colleagues came up with several counts for which they wanted him removed, and that they have no confidence in his leadership as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Of course, Honorable Kofa came back upon hearing this particular situation. He decided to reach out to a few of his colleagues, but he couldn't get those colleagues of his to come back in the main chambers where they were having session. And then it turns out that Honorable Kofa and a few members of the House of Representatives went consistently at the House of Representatives in the chambers to conduct session. But as per the rules of the House of Representatives, in the absence of a quorum, which happens to be 37 lawmakers, you cannot have a session or do business. And so the folks on the other end at the time came up with 44, let's make it 43 members of the House, and they made up the majority block. That majority block then went in the joint chambers of the House of Representatives, where they have had session for the last couple of months. They had sessions consistently, refusing to go under the guidance of Honorable J. Fonati Kofa, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The accounts against the Speaker was that he used his position as Speaker of the House of Representatives to undermine their work, especially some of those serving on different committees, to undermine their functions as heads of different committees. According to them, as Speaker of the House of Representatives, through his legal firm, he was doing business, or he was a legal representative for several concessionaires across the country, something which they thought was a conflict of interest and ran contrary to what their actual responsibilities were. Now, the folks in the majority bloc following several weeks of consistent session, decided to invite Honorable Kofa to give him due process so as to have him give his own side of the story, a due process that would have had him vindicate himself or agree that the counts raised against his colleagues, let's say raised by his colleagues against him, were actually his doing. Honorable Kofa refused to appear before that body because, in his words, that particular body was illegal, and the sitting at the joint chambers of the House of Representatives was illegal, and due to that, he said he would not avail himself. This saga rolled up until December when the House of Representatives, the joint chambers where the majority black had their session on the 18th of December, got at fire. This particular situation has now sparked more attention since, in fact, in the midst of the saga, the joint chambers of this sacred building, the House of Representatives, got at fire. Honorable Kofa, throughout this process, was later impeached by the folks from the majority black, following several weeks of invitation to Honorable Kofa to have him come and have access to due process to say exactly what his own side of the story was with respect to the counts, the several counts are raised against him by his colleagues. Based on his refusal, he was then removed, and of course on the same day there was an election, a vacancy was announced. There was an election which saw Honorable Richard Nagbekun being elected by majority members of the House of Representatives as the Speaker, replacing Honorable J. Fonati Kofa. This situation has sparked major concerns across the country. It has left Liberians with divided opinions as to whether Honorable Richard Nagbekun is the legitimate Speaker, or whether Honorable J. Fonati Kofa remains the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And these opinions have been based on where the respective citizens of the country or pundits or media analysts sit at a particular time. The country has been divided with respect to who is the legitimate Speaker of the Republic of Liberia. Since the 18th of October, this conversation has rolled out up until now. Even after his election as Speaker of the 55th Legislature, there were some members of the House and some Liberians who opposed to the idea that Honorable Richard Nagbekun is the Speaker of the 55th Legislature. And their argument has always come from the legal or the constitutional provision which calls for at least 49 members of the House of Representatives to make such decision. According to many of the folks, the majority black did not get the 49, and so whatever they did with respect to the removal of the Speaker was not legitimate. While there are others who think that despite getting the numbers, where they conducted the sitting was not the appropriate area as per the Constitution. For them, they believe that in order to have the process rightly carried out, Honorable J. Fonati Kofa should have presided over the process and at some point recused himself based on the counts raised by his colleagues, and all of those things should have been done in the main chambers of the House of Representatives and not the joint chambers as it was done. So this situation has left Liberians divided, and over the months, this case has been rolled out, and the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia turned out to be that place where the legislature will run, or Liberians in general will run when there are concerns about the legality of certain issues. Honorable J. Fonati Kofa and his legal team decided to run to the House of Representatives, to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia for legal understanding into this particular situation, folks. Thanks for joining us at Spoon TV. I'm Nelson Collier. We are coming to you here live from the grounds of the Supreme Court, the Temple of Justice. Honorable Kofa and his team appeared before this body, and there was a ruling. And as per the ruling from the Supreme Court, everything that was done by the majority, the action of the House was ultra-virus. That was the term used. the ruling, the previous ruling from the Supreme Court also had it that the majority bloc can mandate, let's say, the legitimate legitimate bloc or the majority bloc or the minority can mandate the majority to go to session. But how it's done and what are the laws, what do they use to enforce that remains the question. And so the Supreme Court of Liberia told the House of Representatives that this thing fell within their purview. They should prescribe laws as to how to go about with this. But the Supreme Court, on the other hand, ruled at the time that what was done at the House of Representatives was ultra vires, and that sparked another debate. There were major concerns as to who actually won the case at that particular time. Some members of the minority bloc claimed victory based on the previous ruling, while some members of the majority bloc were claiming victory as well. Based on the claims and counterclaims and everybody claiming victory, Liberians were concerned. Liberians were concerned as to why did the Supreme Court of Liberia come up with such a ruling. There were many who thought that the ruling from the Supreme Court was ambiguous. It left more people in doubt, while others thought that the ruling was just so crystal clear as anyone would have expected. Based on the ambiguity or the quote-unquote ambiguity of the ruling and the fact that both sides were claiming victory, the Minister of Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Oswald Twed, then used his position as the Minister of Justice of the Republic of Liberia to clearly interpret, as per his legal understanding, what the ruling of the Supreme Court actually meant. And based on his interpretation of the ruling, he then made a decision that the executive branch of government had decided to work with the majority bloc, to do business with the majority bloc, since in fact that bloc had the numbers, that bloc had quorum, and that bloc was consistently conducting business. This is Spoon TV. Thanks for joining us. Let's see if we can get words from more of the folks here. I see Honorable Ta Wongwe is coming through. Let's see if we can engage Honorable Ta Wongwe. Honorable Wongwe, welcome to Spoon TV. We're going to talk to Honorable Benedict next. Okay. Let's talk to the chairman of the Rule of Law Caucus. Honorable, welcome to Spoon TV, sir.
Thank you.
I see you're coming out with a very big smile.
We are excited.
Is this a win for you?
Yes, it's a win for the Constitution, it's a win for the rule of
Wonderful
law,
saying.
and it's a win for Liberia. So at this time, we will first want to call on our colleagues to adhere to the ruling of the court for the sake of our democracy, and we call on the President of the Republic of Liberia to mandate the executive to act in line with the mandate of the court and to restore all privileges to the Speaker of the 55th Legislature, Councillor J. Fonati.
Honorable Benedict, there are concerns that at some point in this entire saga, you went in bed with the majority bloc. You went in that session. You sat under the guidance of Honorable Kuhn, and now at some point you left, and here we are today.
We have never sat under Kuhn. We went there. He did not preserve the rule of call, and we made our point and we walked out. Richard Kuhn has never, the caucus, in as a leader, as a bloc, never gone and sat with them. Individuals have gone there trying to persuade them to come so that we can sit together where you can follow the rule. If you want to remove the speaker or you want to ask him to resign, you can resign. Today, the Supreme Court has done justice to our country. It has done justice to the Constitution, and it has restored the dignity of the Republic. We want to call on President Joseph Boakai to issue the appropriate mandate to all members of government, to the police, to ensure that at this moment, as I speak, that the full authority of the Speaker of the 55th Legislature is restored, as the Speaker will lead the House in trying to reconcile us and deciding the fate.
As you see, how many members do you have in the minority bloc? Oh, okay. So, as Honorable Honorable Musa Hassan Bilete said, he's now calling on the executive. So, he's now calling on the executive to, at this point, see reason to work to give all privileges to Honorable J. Fonati Kofa. Representative Musa Hassan Bilete happened to be the chairperson of the Rule of Law Caucus, and he has been at the forefront. At some point, he got at the forefront of this entire fight, insisting that they will not go the way of the majority bloc, that they will remain in the minority bloc. But the big concern remains, and that's why I was just about asking honorability. The major concern, the major concern remains. The major concern remains as to whether this minority bloc has quorum. Now, because in the absence of the quorum, they're unable to conduct business, and so whether they're going to conduct business moving forward, and what exactly is going to be their next course of action. But he just briefly spoke to us, and then he walked away. We will do a quick analysis here, Cholopi and I, but let's speak to the president of the Press Union of Liberia on this particular issue. Let's speak to the president of the Republic of Liberia.
Is the president of Liberia?
Honorable President, welcome to Spoon TV.
Pleasure.
Okay, so you are here today on the grounds of the Supreme Court. This case has been a landmark case. Liberians across the country and across the world have been very concerned as to what the outcome of this particular case will be. Given what transpired today, what's your take?
Well, first, we want to commend and applaud the Supreme Court for finally ruling on the Bill of Information as filed by the Speaker, J. Fonati Kofa. The Supreme Court, that we have heard, provided the necessary legal clarity. And that clarity is the Speaker remains the Speaker until he properly removes LGBT from the Constitution and the rules of the House of Representatives. So the clarity was necessary because of the different interpretations we got from the first ruling. But again, colleagues, let's be clear, right? The first ruling was not ambiguous. The first ruling was clear. So the Supreme Court had just reinforced its first ruling. So let's be clear to our different people that we are communicating with that this is a continuation of the first ruling. So the ruling is very clear. The Supreme Court said the members of the House, the majority, want to remove their speaker. That should be done keeping with the Constitution and keeping with the rules. So as the President of Liberia, we are calling members of the House, we are calling on the legislature as a whole to respect and uphold the ruling of the Supreme Court. Any attempt to create another situation will further cloud the already clouded situation. We hope that members of the House will come together now to find a pathway. Because the ruling today, reinforcement of what the Supreme Court said, but this time the Supreme Court said with clarity to remove that uncertainty.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Folks, we get
history has a tendency of blocking for violating the law and disrespecting the rule of law. Because when the rule of law is broken, we have chaos. The only thing that always is of our nation is the rule of law. And so it's definitely a national obligation. And I don't also believe that Richard would be Supreme Court has said that that act was unconstitutional. What is not done legally is not done at all. When you file a thorough an illegal means or an illegal method to do something, whatever that comes out of that particular illegal method under the doctrine of the questionable street is illegal, is questionable. So the passage of the budget is unconstitutional, and they have a way to go back and correct that position. Of course, that is the Supreme Court opinion.
So the Supreme Court is looking from an illegal budget.
First of all, you need to know that when the budget is not even passed, the Supreme Court or the judiciary has a budget and an account that is amount that it has certified about will go directly into that account. And then every agency of government, even if the budget is not passed based on the term of the budget, that agency has that particular 112 to operate. That's correct. So the action carried out to pass the law, the budget, was unconstitutional by virtue of the Supreme Court's opinion. So what is not done legally is not done at all.
How do you feel?
That's part of the law.
How do you feel?
I think happened today that we are on the path of the rule of law. It's not about I'm representing Konati Kofa. As a student of history and political science, and as a reader of law and a lawyer, when I see those that took oath to protect the Constitution, violating the Constitution, I worry. Because history has a tendency of reminding us about the past of those things that were responsible for the conflict in this country. And so we shouldn't repeat those particular mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Devas.
Can we go that one, the north? Hello? Hello? Yeah, oh, what is coming, sir? Oh, okay, all right. Let me go to the house now. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still at the center.
So let's now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right, so folks, thanks.
Lee. Mama.
what they did today is what they did. So if you say these people are not today and that so they go outside the official is violation of
The legal side,